Okay, culmination of all of these videos recently, I'm gonna give it to you right here. Alright, so the reason why so many upgrades in gear, so good. Maxing out gear, so good. Specifically, it's only for certain specific types of gear. More utility options, let's say AoE, certain types of elements, these can thrive even without being fully maxed, as we've seen with Mistlands gear. Now, I really like the idea of having gear in between biomes like Stagbreaker, and the Stagbreaker, you're not really going to fully upgrade that, but you're still going to make great use of it. So you get it in between Meadows and Black Forest using a little bit of resources from each, and it's got that unique AoE that goes through walls and through barriers, and that spherical shape of it is just really nice for tagging tricky enemies like bats, ticks, what have you. So, we have an interesting precedent where gear like the sledge, or certain elements maybe with frost, certain additional things where you have like lightning or unique properties, like even, let's say, a spear. So let's say like a lightning spear in between the Bronze Age and Iron Age, or maybe in between even Flint Age and Bronze Age, the same sort of tier as Stagbreaker. It could work because of the hard antlers that Eikthyr drops. Makes sense to be able to work that out in a bunch of different ways than we have currently. As long as we can work it into a pickaxe, surely we should be able to work it into other things. So I got the one comment saying copper with lightning, that could work on a lightning spear. That would be like a nice magical way to cap off like a Bronze Age. I think that, totally agreed, that would be really cool. And I also got a comment about hard antlers, maybe adding antlers to certain styles of helmets or crafting unique helmet. I think that's also super cool, and I would love that. So thank you guys so much for those types of comments. It's really cool. Love those ideas. Just excellent ideas. But you see how certain types of gear with very, very unique properties can excel even when not fully upgraded, and nobody really cares because we're not looking for the proper amounts of staggering here. We're not looking for the proper amounts of DPS here or damage here. We're totally focused on okay damage and then also very unique properties. Now, where do I think a lot of this style of stuff can be introduced? Hildir's Quest. Oh yes, Hildir's Quest has a bunch of opportunities in the various dungeon variants that we're going to see. So we're most likely going to have a ton of dungeon variants, maybe all of them. So maybe we have a variant Troll Cave. We know we have a variant Burial Chambers. We could have a variant Sunken Crypt, a variant Frost Cave, variant Infested Mine, maybe even a special unique Plains Dungeon. I think that would be sick. That would be really cool. And in all of these places, if we were to get a reward or something, maybe a material from the mini bosses, or a reward for the NPC, or maybe a reward for Hildir for bringing the NPC back to Hildir's encampment, because we know that the campsite should have a lot of people there, but it doesn't. Just looks like Hildir now. So looks like we might be rescuing NPCs and could get rewards that way. We know that we're going to get cloth rewards and unique clothing, which is pretty cool. Hopefully has some sort of mechanical benefit, at the very least, to something like building and farming. That would be cool, considering how they are like more fashionable around the home clothes, you know what I'm saying? But even then, I would be shocked, extremely surprised if, say, we didn't get anything else. Let's say, at least from drops from a mini-boss. Like, I'm expecting something. That would be a great place to implement a lot of in-between gear, like your lightning spear, like I mentioned. It could have an AoE, or even like a live wire effect if thrown into the water. So that way, like, you get to manipulate a lot of the aggro radius of certain enemies, because the spear throw aggro radius is really high. But even then, you get such high additional lightning damage. You see the Himenoffel right there. It's got that 46 lightning. It becomes 69 because you deal 1.5 times lightning damage to wet targets. So a lightning spear could be dealing a ton of damage, and it could be dealing a ton of lingering DOT to enemies that walk into the river, or just damage up front, either way. Now what's really cool there is that you can totally swap to something else. See, I have a bunch of gear on me. Even when I have limited gear like potions in the hotbar, I can totally just see myself swapping to something else, leaving that spear in there and having that lightning build up to staggering of what have you. Maybe I have the lightning spear in there and I grab my sledge and now I'm bonking the riverbed and I'm knockbacking the enemy, sending them back, maybe even to the opposite shore if it's small enough. And then they walk back into the river trying to get to me and they get shocked again. And it's just a repeat process, just default kill destruction. I would love that. That would be my spear of choice on that regard. I think going from like a swamp to mountain sort of idea, if we had like a reward from maybe a either a sunken crypt special dungeon or a frost cave special dungeon, I think what would be really cool would be like a poison sledge. So maybe more of the in between swamp and mountain tier would get like a unique sledge there. Poison is just super good on slower use things. Let's say this arbalest that I'm using here, it would be really good there. And of course sledge, because it's slower and then the AoE allows you to use it on a safe spot, sledge would be really good there. Sledge would also, or no, poison would also be pretty good on a knife for the sneak attack. Just getting that one burst damage and then being able to swap to something else, it would be very good. Poison wouldn't be as good for the DPS function of the knife, but that sneaking property would be really cool. So maybe some sort of thing there would be cool. There's not really it's not really too much room for additional knife because we have a bunch of knives already, but we also have a bunch of spears already. We could have the electric spear be a Plains Age thing, and maybe we could have like, it's tough. It's tough to say. It's tough to say where I want the tiers to be, because in the Plains Age we're missing a sledge, but we're also missing a Mountains Age sledge. So, where do you want that to be? I do think maybe a poison knife would be good, or a poison sledge, maybe a fire sledge even, because of the DOT, that would work there too. DOT is DOT as far as the sledge is concerned. Also thinking, of course, that lightning spear, maybe some sort of special battle axe, like a lightning battle axe in the Mountains Age. That would be sick. You know, Silver Age at gear would always be phenomenal. Of course, I'm saying Silver Age, Plains Age, but I'd much prefer like in between tiers with gear from a couple of different biomes, or mats from a couple different biomes to make it. I think that would be more interesting, and because of the special properties, they would go the distance and we would be making meaningful choices on whether to craft and use this one or that thing, or maybe once they're properly balanced out, it would just be personal choice, because they would all be amazing. Good to think about, and I do hope we get these sort of really cool rewards and unique crafting options from Hildirs Quest. Let me know what you think about it, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys some other time. Bye.